Okay, super, super. I see a couple of people I did not include, like you, Lady, and Juan. Hi. But feel free to stay. The only thing is I'm asking if you guys take DigiBite 1 because there is a logic in the session. So we have 3 sessions today, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There is a bit of a logic. I mean, if you're in today, you need to be in tomorrow as well, and then Friday as well, because there is exercises we'll be doing, and the session, they build on each other. Okay. And just before we dig in, I need to deactivate the transcription. Stop. Yeah. That kicks in automatically. All right. So let me share the screen and then we'll get to it. You guys still hear me? You still see me okay, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, brilliant. Brilliant. I would love this session to be interactive. I'm working from home today, which means I have only one screen. So if you want to ask a question, just jump in, guys. I would like this session again, as I mentioned, to be as spontaneous as possible. And please don't raise your hand because I'm not going to be able to see it. So just ask your question. Okay. And I see a couple of people still missing, but we will start slowly. All right, so welcome to DigiBite. So DigiBite is actually a training online, which I give myself to the new joiners and also people that just joined Adobe Campaign journey. So Adobe Campaign is our marketing automation solution. We used to give this training in Lisbon. That's why we call it, if you cannot come to Lisbon, Lisbon will come to you. But again, with COVID, when COVID hit 2 years ago, we kind of moved this to online and we call it DigiBite. Yeah. But hopefully now with the traveling resuming, that's why this will be the last DigiBite, because I will be probably reviewing the formats and hopefully we'll get to, go to Lisbon maybe next year, early next year, physically be there and present to you the latest functionality when it comes to marketing, digital marketing, the new features, the new integration, all the cool stuff, and have also external speakers. Yeah, so again, this will probably happen next year. As I mentioned, this training we used to give over 3 days in Lisbon. We're not going to have 3 days called, otherwise you will die. So that's why we've replaced it by DigiBite 1, DigiBite 2, and DigiBite 3. And each of the DigiBites, they last 2 hours, on Teams. Yeah. So today we are on DigiBite 1. Again, we're not going to cover everything because remember, we used to give this training over 3 days, but it gets you enough. It gets you to ask questions. It gets you to really know the bare minimum when it comes to digital marketing in NP, in Nestle Professional. Okay. So today's agenda. So today is about DigiBite 1. I'm going to walk you through the 3 main capability of campaign excellence and also share with you some really, really quick wins to help you accelerate on first-party data, how to run really good Facebook and LinkedIn lead generation, and also share with you our resource center so that you can function on a very optimal way when it comes to campaign and data. Yeah. DigiBite 2 is what we're going to see tomorrow. So tomorrow is actually a very exciting because this is the most interactive bit, DigiBite 2, because this is really about designing a campaign. So it's a hands-on session tomorrow. So today is a little bit of setting the scene, showing you what's available, what works, what doesn't work. Tomorrow, you're going to get to do the job. Yeah. So that's why we call it hands-on. We'll do a group exercise and we will be taking some business objective and translating them into campaigns with results. Yeah. And then DigiBite 3, that's what we're going to do on Friday. And DigiBite 3, I'm having 2 people that will help me animate this session. And it's really about how to work efficiently with the Campaign Factory. So the Campaign Factory is actually the CRM service team. Yeah, they were located in Lisbon. And that's why we used to have the induction in Lisbon. It's actually because we want the market to meet the CRM team, so the Campaign Factory team. And we'll also have Cecile from Viso. So Viso is our CRM agency that will give you a bit of a demo tour on Adobe and explain to you the basics of Adobe, because we're not expecting you to be Adobe experts. You have the Campaign Factory for that, but you need to know enough when it comes to digital marketing to function properly within NP. What's available, what's not, etc. All right. So welcome to DigiBite 1, today's session. Just maybe a couple of housekeeping stuff, guys. Please turn on your camera if possible. It's really difficult sometimes to engage the audience if you're hiding behind a shut camera. Mute your mic. Please refrain from taking emails and cell phone. I want you fully with me in these 2 hours. It's only 2 hours. And make sure you wear pants. That's why I need the camera on. So who's here today? And I apologize for the people who don't have their pictures in here. That's why I sent out the email. That's why I said you need to accept the 3 DigiBites or decline the 3 of them, because I need to see who's in, because we're doing some exercise and I need to be able to know exactly who's in and who's not. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now, we should be 19 people plus myself. I'm just going to quickly go and see who's in and who's not. Yeah, I have Natasha. Oh, Veronica. Hey, Veronica.
Hello, Betty.
Oh,
I'm joining the first half.
Okay,
Hi, Betty.
good. Hey, Carl, you enjoyed it so much last year that you're coming back.
Although I'm going to jump off in a bit, but I thought to join, say hi and see everyone, meet everyone. Yeah.
Okay, glad you've joined us, Carl. So I'm just trying to check quickly who's in. I've seen a couple of people actually who already had DigiBite last year, but better more people than less. Super. And I see Tenlo. Hey, Tessa and Jason. All right, guys, so let's go. So I suggest that we start with Anglo-Dutch Caribbean. Andrew, do you want to quickly say hi to the rest of the team? And yeah, maybe before, please, when you introduce yourself, just, your name and your role. And also, if you can put in on the chat, that little dream of yours you have. If you have any question at this session, what would be the objective you're looking for behind this session? Could be either to get an overview of, what digital tools you have available in NP. It could be any kind of question, but please put in the chat. Don't say it in front of everyone, because otherwise it'll take us an hour. Just put in the chat, what would be your expectation out of the DigiBite session? Because I'm going to go back to those comments on Friday and make sure that I met them. All right. So let's start with Anglo-Dutch Caribbean. Andrew, I want to say quickly hi to the audience. Is Andrew still there? Okay, maybe not. Alicia, are you there? All right. Patricia, Canada.
Hello, I'm here. This is Ambrose, and I am the Assistant Digital Marketing Manager for NP Canada, one of 2 of them.
Good. Nice meeting you, Patricia. Do we have Elaine on the phone? No, no,
Hi.
Elaine. All right.
Yeah, I'm right here. Sorry, just took me a minute to unmute my mic. But I am the digital marketing intern. I just started on Cal's team this week.
All right, brilliant, brilliant. And Carl, good to see you are, building a team in Canada.
Thank you. We need it now.
Cool, cool. Super. Miguel, you want to say hi to everyone?
Yes. Hi, my name is Miguel. I've been in NP for 6 years, and I just started in marketing like a year ago. So I'm very excited to be here with you guys today.
Welcome on board, Miguel. Andrea?
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Sanchez. I am the digital lead for NP in Ecuador. I have been in NP for 3 years, and
Good. And you already taken DIGIBITE last year,
yes,
remember?
yes, and I want to
Cool.
take it again to take more insights on how to apply it to the market now that we have been maturing through this CLM journey. So.
Good, good, good. You're not the only one. We had a couple of people coming back again, Andrea. So good to have you back. And then we have the Greek ladies, Julie and Georgia. Do you want to say hi?
Hello. My name is Yuli. I have entered NP team the last 2 years. And I'm a member of the plant-based development team.
Nice meeting you, Julie. Georgia?
And I'm Georgiana Gnostou. I'm a Nestlé professional the last 5 years. Recently, I'm the Food and Beverage Solution Manager in Nestlé Professional Greece.
Nice meeting you, Georgia.
Me too, thank you.
Sophia? Welcome on board, Sophia.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm fairly new to NP. I've been here since February. I used to be in baby food for a long time. I'm an interim brand and communications manager, so very much looking forward to these sessions.
Good. Welcome on board. And you're taking over from Eileen, who's on a mat leave, Sophia,
Exactly.
right?
Yes, she had a beautiful baby.
Oh, she had already. Good.
Yes.
Super. All right. Natasha.
Yes, hello everyone. So my name is Natasha. I'm Junior Brand and Digital Manager for NP Switzerland since January this year, and really happy to meet you all.
Good. Welcome on board, Natasha. I'm happy to have also with Digital Lead in Switzerland. We had no digital equivalent for the last 18 months or so, huh? So really happy to have you.
Yeah, sure. I hope I will meet your expectations then.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Cool. US, Christine.
Hello, Christine Rolls. I'm a digital marketing specialist for Nestlé Professional US, and I've been here since September. So excited for the session.
Cool. Welcome on board again, Christine.
Thanks.
And the US, they also have Tanlo. So welcome, Tanlo. Tess Sanchez, anyone want to say a quick hi?
Sure. Hi, I'm Tessa Berg. I've been supporting Nestle and its use of Adobe Campaign and digital for the last 5 years, and really excited just to see this presentation and find out some new ways that we can better support Christine and team.
Cool. I remember those early days, Tessa. US was one of the markets 5 years ago. It sounds like ages ago. Cool.
All right, and I'm Jason Nikolakakis, and I am a client strategist with Tenlo. I've been working to support Nestlé Professional enterprise team for the last maybe 3.5 years. So just excited to be on to learn to learn. So thank you.
Cool. All right. Venezuela. Annalene, do we have Annalene? Not sure. Ibrahim.
Yes, hello everyone. Really nice to meet you all. I've been in NP since, well, for a month now, and I'm really excited to be participating here and getting to know the tools we can use to help the category. So I'm the junior consumer manager, marketing manager for the food category here.
And Ibrahim, you're taking over from Camilla, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is it for the markets. Now we also have a couple of really good people from above market.
Just one person. We have Juan Sebastián Espinal from Colombia. Maybe you didn't have it on the list because he's also new. It would be good if he could introduce himself.
Juan, from which country? From which market?
Colombia.
Okay. Hey, Juan. Yeah,
Hi,
sure.
Betty. Hi, everyone. My name is Juan. I'm kind of new to the role and Nestlé professional. I'm the marketing and food coordinator for Nestlé Professional. I'm pretty happy to be here to get to know all of you and to get knowledge from the session.
Cool. Welcome on board, Juan.
Thank you.
I'll make sure I'll add you to the slide.
Thank you.
And then, so Carl, you want to say quick hi? Did I miss anyone from the markets? I have you as well, lady, but I remember you've already taken the class or you already taken the training last year, I remember. Carl, you want to say a quick hi?
Sure, definitely. Thank you, Betty. Hi, everyone. I'm Carl. I'm the digital marketing manager at Nestlé Professional Canada. I lead the digital team here, and nice seeing you all, and welcome to the team for the new joiners.
Cool. Good to have you again, Carl. So let me just go back, and we have a couple of people from above market, as I've mentioned. We have you, Dalia, and new joiner in NP as well. You want to say a quick hi, Dalia?
Yes, so hi everyone, I'm Dalia. I'm the CMI head for Nestlé Professional Europe. And just like Sofia, I started this role back in Feb. I'm very happy to be with you all today to get to know you and very excited to learn about the great digital tools we have.
Welcome on board, Dalia. Excited to have you part of the organization. And then we have 3 new joiners from Lisbon. They are part of the CRM service. So CRM service is the campaign factory. So they're the one actually who work with you hand in hand to create and publish your digital campaigns. So let's start with Maria.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria Julia. I'm in the CRM team since last year, and I just started working with NPro markets now. So yeah, excited to work with you all.
Cool. Welcome to the team, Maria.
Thank you.
Katrina.
Hi, everyone. So I'm on the CRM services team. I just started last month, and I'm very excited to meet you all and to work with you.
Cool. Welcome. And Hugo. No Hugo. All right. So, and you know me, I'm Betty. I'm leading globally the campaign and data center of excellence, and I'm going to be your host for the next 3 days on DigiBite. Yeah. So it took a little bit longer, but I hope that was a good ice-breaking session. So quickly, and I have a couple of slides on theory, and then it's all practice and quick, and hopefully helping you with some quick wins. You certainly heard about AAGR. AAGR means attract, acquire, grow, and retain. And it's just the foundation on anything we do in NP when it comes to, our marketing activation. How do we attract, how do we attract leads? How do we attract the right leads? So how do we invest in the right channel to bring them in? grow them, and retain them. Yeah. And of course, if we retain them, we improve the loyalty. And again, this is nothing extraordinary. I think any healthy business needs to somehow have enough new business, keep the business, and make sure that the business stay loyal. Because I think if we have the right balance of doing this, the business will be healthy. Yeah. So I'm going to walk you through a few elements on how to do those strategic elements well enough to get you really with business results. So 5 years ago, and the US was one of the pilot market, we've launched CLM. So CLM stands for Customer Lifecycle Management. And that's why we use the term AAGR, because it's really specific to customer lifecycle management. So CLM sits on 5 main capabilities. So digital excellence, so this is about the websites, the social media, campaign excellence. So this is what you are in today. I lead campaign excellence globally. Sales excellence, service excellence. So service is really specific to trade assets. So this is all about beverage solution. And then insight. And as I've seen that there was quite a bit of new joiners. So this just to give you a bit of an overview of who's doing what globally at the SBU. And also the technology we use to support each one of those pillars. Yeah. So for the websites, we use Drupal as a technology. And you know that we are in the process at the moment of upgrading our np.com, which is our global websites, from Drupal 7 to Drupal 9. When it comes to campaign excellence, the solution we use is Adobe Campaign. But today, we're not focusing at all, today and tomorrow, we're not focusing at all on Adobe, because Adobe is just a solution. What we are focusing today and tomorrow is really about processes. What good campaign look like? What are the quick wins? What are the watch outs? It's only marketing stuff. Yeah, no technology. For me, technology is something that should come to support our processes. That's why DIGIBITE 1 and DIGIBITE 2, it's all about processes. Now for sales and service excellence, the technology we use is C4C. So C4C stands for Cloud for Customer. And when it comes to insights, so this is all about dashboards, etc. We use SAP HANA. Yeah, so this is just maybe as an FYI, especially for the new joiners, because I've heard sometime, how can I run C4C campaigns? C4C, it's the CRM tool that the sales team are using. It has nothing to do with marketing. For marketing, we use Adobe Campaign. Yeah, so it's important that you guys understand just the technology we use behind each one of the processes. And these are the people behind those boxes. Yeah, so I'm the one here on campaign. But if you have questions on sales processes, it's Wayne Ashton, my colleague. When it comes to trade assets, it's Tomislav. On the website, it's Mariana. And the social platform, it's Carol. And there is a person who's transversal, and he's leading change management, and that's Herman. Yeah, and we all report to Henry Deroux, and Henry, he's the global head of e-business and experience. So yeah, so that's our boss. So you are here today. I'm going to talk to you a lot about campaign excellence and really provide you with some really, really good tips on how to really hit the road running with good campaigns and data. We're going to be focusing on the top of the funnel. So digital marketing, we do focus on the top of the funnel. The funnel, it's actually the sales team who's focusing on the bottom of the funnel. So our job as marketers, especially as digital marketer, is to make sure that we put in a lot of good leads at the top of the funnel, because if we put in good leads, then the sales team can actually take them good leads and convert them into sales opportunities. Yeah, there is a bit of elements in between, and that's the lead bit. Yeah, so the lead is actually a joint element between marketing and sales, and that's what drive collaboration across the two function. Yeah, so in a nutshell, in order to really have good leads, in order to run efficient lead generation campaign, it's important that the marketing team align and coordinate with the sales team. You know, what are the right type of leads we want to go after? Yeah. And again, as I explained earlier, the technology we use to manage the top of the funnel is Adobe, and the bottom of the funnel is C4C. And of course, the two solutions are interconnected. Yeah, they're integrated. So info in Adobe, the flow to C4C, and info in C4C, the flow to Adobe. So when we run a lead generation campaign using Adobe, and I have a few examples in the next slides, as soon as we have a lead generation campaign, you know, through Adobe, the lead is immediately available in C4C for the sales team to convert and to process and convert into sales opportunity. So far, so good. Any questions?
Perfect here.
Or crystal clear? Okay. Again, remember, if you have any questions, please just shoot, because I cannot see if you're raising your hands. So, and of course, on the top of the funnel, what is it we do? Concretely, we do three things. Yeah, and that's why you're here today and tomorrow and Friday. It's to learn how to do these three things well enough. Yeah. The first thing, and I'm going to cover each of these three things in further detail. We build and manage a marketing database using Adobe. This is making sure that we have a solid database of prospects, yeah, of operator that, you know, we can activate via campaigns, etc. So we make sure that all our data goes, or our marketing data is stored in one place, and that place is called Adobe. We also use Adobe to generate MQLs. MQLs means marketing qualified leads. I've been in this role for exactly 5 years, and 5 years ago, we had zero leads coming from marketing. Now, after 5 years down the road, roughly 20% of all the leads that our organization is processing come from marketing activities. Yeah. So if you're a marketer, and I know that I have quite a bit of marketers in the audience today, you should be really, really proud, because you've contributing to business impact for this organization. You bring in good leads to the organization, and also leads for the sales team to process and convert. Yeah. 5 years ago, it wasn't just part of the way we were working. It wasn't possible 5 years ago because of change management, because we didn't have the right solutions, we didn't have center of excellence available. But now it's really a good time. It's a good place to be as a marketer. And a third thing is, you know, because we have a database of operator, it's easy to nurture a continuous relationship with them. Yeah, it's easy to involve them into a relationship because we have their data. We know they're interested in plant-based. Yeah, so maybe we want to invite them to a plant-based webinar. Maybe we want to show them a plant-based academy, making sure that they come to the academy and win badges. Yeah, so again, think of it as a direct marketing. It's easier to engage an audience in a direct marketing mechanic if we know the data, we know in which category they're interested, and we can start measuring that engagement. And quickly, today we have 49 markets on Adobe Campaign. So we started again 5 years ago. Pretty much all markets are in Adobe, and that means actually a lot of learnings. We share best practices. If it works, I make sure that we have business cases that I distribute back to the market. If it doesn't work, we make sure we get the learning and we move on. Yeah. So let's start with the really 3 key elements of campaign excellence. So the first thing is really about knowing our operators deeply. And we know them deeply because we have all the data stored in one place. And again, that place is Adobe Campaign. So let's go in quickly. And I know that this is part of your IEBP or EBP because this is the IEBP for AMS last year. Yeah, and I know that as part of one priority, one of your key element last year is to have Adobe. And I think, Veronica, if you're still online, this is still a priority for LATAM this year. And if you're part of Zone Europe, I know it's one of the must-win battles you have as well, is making sure that you win with data. Yeah. So today, all the data you collect, either on the website or if you run trade shows, I know this is something that we haven't done tremendously over the last 2 years, but as our business is resuming slowly, I know that a few markets are starting to run local events and trade shows and collecting leads during those events. Of course, in those events, you use Adobe Forms. Data is available in Adobe. Again, Adobe is connected with C4C. So C4C is our CRM tool. You should all have C4C implemented in your markets. I think you should have, except Greece, maybe.
And
yeah,
ADC
I think.
as well.
And sorry, who?
And ADC as well.
An ADC, you don't have C4C yet. Yeah, so this bit here is not available yet, but I think it's still planned. It's part of the plans this year. And maybe for Switzerland, a critical detail for you, Natasha, you have C4C only on beverage, not on food. Now we,
Yes, exactly.
the food is used in a separate solution. Yeah.
Exactly.
So Adobe is integrated with C4C, which means that, you know, if a sales team has processed a lead and converted the lead, we know that in Adobe because the two solutions are connected. If you're running campaign, sampling campaign, contest campaign, of course, all the collected data is in Adobe. And if you're running social ads on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram and using social forms, so the native form on Facebook and LinkedIn, well, these are coming to Adobe real time. So all your acquisition campaigns should actually drive data to Adobe, which means that you have all your first-party data available under one umbrella. Yeah. And Veronica, I don't know if Veronica, you're still online, but this is actually why I was able 2 weeks ago to provide that exec summary to our management on, you know, on our first-party data within NP and the evolution over the last 12 months, because we have all our data stored in one place now, which means it's easy to clean. It's easy to clean and deduplicate. Yeah. A few years ago, we have data all over the place. Some of the data was sitting on Excel. Some of the data was sitting on an agency side. Some of the data was on a computer with somebody who left the organization. So it was really impossible to get really that 360 view on our data. That's no longer, thanks God, that's no longer the case because we have all data now available under one in one place. And because we have data in one place, it's easier, especially if you are a leader in your markets as a BO or as a food and beverage manager, to understand how good you are when it comes to penetration for your priority channels. So I've taken these extracts from the UK. It's a bit outdated. I think it's 6 months old. But in the UK, I shared this with Katya, who's the BO for the UK. Overall, there was 257,000 food and beverage outlets in the UK. So if I was Katya, who's the BO, I would say, oh, I want to have all those outlets in my database because I want to have a conversation with all of them. I want to be able to tell them who NP UK is. I want to be able to invite them to my events, etc. Yeah. So probably you're thinking the same thing for your markets is how can we have a big portion of all the food and beverage outlets in my database, in my local database? When we looked at the Adobe database for the UK, we saw that there was 73,000 accounts. Yeah. So businesses. And I was like, that's not so bad, actually. We have quite a large portion of the universe in our database. So that represents roughly 28%. But actually, because we have the data, so we can slice and dice as we want, when we looked at the data in a little bit more detail and mapped them against the priority channels, so we know that in Europe, we have 6 priority channels: hotels, education, QSR, FSR, healthcare. Actually, the numbers are way lower than we expected. Yeah. So in the UK, there was 44,000 hotels. We have only 5% of that hotel universe in the database. Education channel, same thing. Universities in the UK, school and universities, only 7%. QSR, look at a QSR, 1%. Yeah. Again, this is not necessarily bad, but we cannot improve what we cannot measure. So the only way to see that you those yellow bars improving, which means that over, midterm, long term, we want to see this yellow bar increasing and even going to, after the blue bar. Yeah. So this is what we make available to you as a market. And the only way to make this available is by having all the data in one place. Yeah, so that's now possible. So this kind of representation, this kind of insights, you can have them for your markets now. And that's what we call NP first party data. And you have them real time. Okay. Any questions so far? I hope this is the right level of detail or, not quickly enough, but please, I need you guys to tell me if this is good or you want me to go into more detail, or maybe this is too much detail for you.
No, it's the perfect amount.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Super. So again, this is possible as well because in Adobe, we have something that we call forms. Yeah. So we use Adobe to collect first-party data, and we have different type of forms to do that. Yeah. So we have contact us form. This is what we put on the websites, and NPUS, you have one of that. Turkey as well. I think Switzerland, you have that as well. UK, Nordic, I don't think you have that. Sophia, just trying to check. So any entry points on your websites, your social media, where it involves collecting customer data, so operator data, we use Adobe Forms. I know that a few markets, they're still using local forms that are not integrated. I know that a few markets still do. Please this should not happen anymore because these are old ways of working. You're probably still doing them because you're not aware that we have now Adobe Forms. Of course, we can put Adobe Forms on your websites. You can drive traffic to Adobe Forms via your social media, via Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. Please make sure that you have Adobe Forms whenever you collect first-party data. Using Adobe Forms will make your life easier because you'll have all the data in one place. You don't need, again, to extract data as Excel and push it, etc. Yeah. So please make sure that you use Adobe Form. Again, we have forms for, sampling forms. We have forms to contact if you want to be contacted in your markets. We have forms if you want to, beef up your newsletter subscription list. If you want to organize events, webinars, we have forms for that. And if you want to have, if you have a local, sampling redemption campaign, cashback campaign, anything, we have forms for that as well. Yeah. Again, please make sure you use these because it'll make your life easier if you use them. And as these are Adobe Forms, it means that you have all your data in one umbrella so that it really fits the global reporting, and you can see hopefully these yellow bar increasing over time. Because if you're using local forms, of course, those local forms, they're not feeding the global database. So it's difficult for you to know exactly how many people you have in the database real time because, again, they're not feeding Adobe. Okay. Yeah, so this is exactly what I mentioned. So when you use those Adobe Forms, of course, they're Adobe Forms, which means that they are feeding the global database. And if you are feeding the global database, you'll see the reporting, as a consequence. Now I'm going to share with you two really, really good examples on how easy is it for us now to collect first-party data. So I'm going to use an example from Venezuela. So Ibrahim, this campaign was run, it was a really, really good campaign run by Camila last year and Annalene. And I also used an example from the Greek team, which was just, a way to beef up the subscription list for the local newsletter. Yeah. So this was the Venezuela campaign, which were run in Q4 last year. It wasn't a lead generation. It was simply an acquisition campaign. Venezuela last year had 0 or maybe a few, I think they had like a few 20 or 30 people, 30 operators in the database. No, actually they had 100. They had 100 people. So a very small number of operators in the database, and they wanted to really beef up the local database. So how can we attract operators in our, local database? So they used a contest. It was a contest to win one of the KitchenAids. They have multiple KitchenAids. One of the KitchenAid was the incentive, and to win it, you just need to register. Yeah, so they've used a media mix of owned and paid. So owned, they've sent an email, and the email was sent out to the local database, which was roughly 100 people. And then they had a bit of paid social ads on Instagram with the objective to raise awareness on the contest. Yeah, so when people clicked on the Instagram ad or clicked on the call to action on the email, they landed on an Adobe form, and they had to fill in their detail and submit. Once they submit the form, they saw a thank you landing page, and we also automated a thank you email. Yeah, again, all this is automated. And in the background, so even though even though this was not a lead generation campaign, because somebody who participates into a local contest, he's probably not hot enough to go to the sales team, to get converted. But still, the local team, they still wanted the sales team to be notified each time they had a local operator entering the contest. Yeah. So again, it was a really an efficient way to acquire efficiently data in order to use them after that for, for events, to cross-sell to them, to upsell to them. So the campaign lasted for 2 weeks, and they have acquired over 3,000 operators locally. Yeah. Again, it's a simple way, an efficient way with a limited budget, because the only budget spent here, the only PFME, was the social ads paid and the price of the KitchenAid, which was the incentive. That's it. Yeah. So it was quite, from a media, from an efficiency, it was quite a low budget campaign. And again, the objective was to really acquire operator into the database. Another example from the Greek team. So you're probably aware of this, Georgia and Julie, for your market. So it was December last year when the Greek market joined NP. You had a very, very small local database. So the objective here is, can we buy some media over LinkedIn and to really get them to register and beef up that subscription list to really, start sending regular coffee-related communication, so newsletters. So again, the objective is having, a media mix which consists of paid with LinkedIn, with people who will, specific target audience, which was probably food and beverage managers, HR managers, facility managers. So that target audience, the objective is to get them to really join, the coffee club. They'll subscribed to the form. Then they see a thank you landing page, and then they start receiving a regular newsletter related to coffee. Again, these are just like really easy wins in order to develop a local database, or what we call first-party data. Any questions so far?
Betty, yes, this is Veronica. I have a
Hi,
question.
Veronica. Yeah.
I have a question regarding the qualification. So that we have a bit of a challenge in our markets, and we have discussed this. So once we receive the leads, we are very, very successful, which is good. But at some point, we're not necessarily capable enough to qualify all these leads. So this becomes a very big roadblocker for us. So I don't know if any other market has faced this, but how could we be more efficient since the communication we have, right? Since the communication we put on these marketing campaigns to kind of pre-qualify, and other best practices in terms of qualification, it would be good to learn more about that.
It's a challenge not only in LATAM, Veronica, huh? I mean, in digital marketing, we usually say that the sales team has to be aligned with the marketing team. It's a constant effort to make sure that the two organization, the two team, they really talk to each other. Because if the marketing team are going after a specific type of leads, for example, operators in the beverage, for beverage, and usually these are HR managers, facility managers in specific industries, maybe you want them in workplace, but usually we want to have larger, throughputs, anything that has more than 20 cups per day. This is probably what the sales team are looking after in terms of, lead profile. So the marketing team, when they have a campaign, they need to make sure that this is the right audience we're targeting. But if we get those leads to the sales team, we need also to be ready as a sales organization to face that influx of leads. Yeah, because if a sales team takes 1 week to call them, it's waste. Yeah. I'm going to make a really, really important statement here, guys. So I don't know if I've lost a few people. I know that I have at least 4 people. I have Jason, Tessa, Christine, and you, Veronica. The rest, I don't know if you're still there. I've made a test last year. I went into a few financial company online and I fill in the request form on the website. Yeah. So again, it's not F&B, it's not food and beverage, it's financial. I make sure that just, fill in the request online and I timed myself. And I said how long it'll take them to call me back. Could you tell me how long it took them to call me back? It's just a guess, just guess.
4 months, never.
Either 5 seconds or never.
5 seconds. Who said 5 seconds?
No, I said either 5 seconds or never. They never called back.
Yeah. So yeah.
Words never.
So they called me back between 5 and 6 minutes. So it wasn't 5 seconds. So I really timed it. Again, I'm not saying that we should be. I'm not saying at all that our sales team should call every lead after 5 minutes. But please don't call a lead after 5 days. He's gone. Yeah. So maybe what we said in many markets, we're trying to put the 48 hours, but 48 hours, we can still optimize that, but it's still acceptable because sometimes we call lead after 2 weeks, they don't even remember they fill in a form. They're just like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't remember, because they probably have filled in a form also with our competitors. They've probably already are in negotiation with our competitors, and we're calling them. It's really a bit of a waste. 5 years ago when we started, we didn't have the technology, we didn't have the solution to support that business ambition, but now that's no longer an excuse. If you run a campaign, you get the leads, seconds, you see it in Adobe, and a few seconds it synchronizes in C4C. So you can have your sales team already on top of that leads, seconds after a form has been submitted, from a Facebook ad or from a LinkedIn ad. So there is no excuse not to call back the lead immediately after. And we have research. Yeah, I'm just going to finish that one, and I can take a question after that. And we have research that says, the percentage of conversion from a lead to a sales opportunity is very high the moment we call the lead immediately. The longer we wait, the less chance we have in converting that lead into a sales opportunity. And tons of research sustain that. There was a question, somebody wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, this is Patricia from Canada. Just when you talk about the lead being generated into C4C immediately so that the sales team can go after it, does the appropriate sales team member get an email that they have a lead waiting, or do they need to constantly be going into C4C to see those leads?
Yeah, it's a good question, Patricia. So C4C is the CRM system. That's what our sales team are using to process and convert those leads. So everything, if it's not in C4C, it doesn't exist. So we're using really C4C because that also feeds dashboards. So we're trying to really increase adoption on C4C from our sales team. They see it. So every time there is a lead coming, it has a status new. So they see, oh, new lead. So it comes as new. And it sits in that status until it's assigned. Yeah. So usually market that are, and probably Ecuador, you're part of that. I don't know if Andrea is still online. Some markets are and the US as well. They're investing in a qualification team. So not all the marketing leads should hit sales immediately because a lot of those leads are maybe not good. So you should, but some of them are really good. So you don't want to be drowning your sales team with a lot of leads that are Yeah. So what really some really good markets have done is to make sure that they have a qualification team. So qualification team, it could be one person or two person. It could be in-house or outsourced, that they just look at those leads and only the good ones. So they usually run a script. They call back the lead. Oh, hi Tessa. You just submitted a form. Thank you so much. Could you please tell us a little bit about your business? You know, how many coffee cups do you serve per day? You're really a workplace. How many employees do you have? So that's is qualification. So the qualification team, they have a nose assessing the viability of our leads. And only if the leads fits that definition, the sales team, that they will assign the lead to the sales team based on territory, based on whatever business rule. If the lead is too small, located in a geographic area that we don't visit, they reject the lead. Yeah. But that's the good process, is that not all marketing leads should hit the team, should hit the sales team immediately. So you need to have that filter in between that makes sure that, you know, they assign the lead or they reject it if it's not good enough. So I hope that answers your question, Patricia. So the lead, when it comes in into C4C, it sits in status new. The qualification team will pick it up, run the qualification, and they can either reject it or assign it. If they assign it, we see that, so we know that the lead is gone to Carl, because that is a plant-based lead located in Toronto, and Carl is the sales rep who looks after that territory. So they assign it to Carl. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem. Some markets, even though they have C4C, the head of sales still want to be notified each time we have a lead. We automate that as well. So every time he receives an email, we have a lead. This is something we can also set up in the system. He receives probably a few hundreds in a month, but you know, some head of sales, they want to see that. So that's also possible. But those notification, they're human notification and they're emails, so they don't feed, you know, they don't feed a global dashboard. So it's the global dashboard are fed only via what's in C4C, because that's the official CRM system for NP. It was a good question. It was a good question, Patricia. Any other question before I go back to the slides? All clear? All right, cool. Veronica, did this answer your question? Maybe she had to step out. Okay, cool.
Oh, sorry, I was speaking mute. Thank you, Betty, for your answer. Still, we need to review the qualifying process and everything with markets to evaluate opportunities and make it easier and make sure that we're sending the good leads to sales. So yes, we can discuss this separately as well. Thank you.
Yeah, happy to do that. So maybe just to recap, we use Adobe Campaign as a marketing database. So remember, we're still talking about data. So Adobe Campaign is fed in 5 different ways. Yeah, we can either feed it manually. So a few markets, they still, for whatever reason, they still have Excels somehow. So we could push this manually into Adobe. A second way to push data to Adobe is by using Adobe Forms. So this is a little bit obvious. When we use Adobe Forms, the data is available real time in Adobe. The third thing is Adobe is integrated with C4C. So C4C is our CRM tool, is our sales system. That's what the sales team are using for their processes. The 2 systems are connected. So when a sales team, for example, they change an info on an account, they put that this account is, for example, a BNI account, we have the info in Adobe. And vice versa. If in Adobe, a contact says that my job title has changed, I'm no longer a barista, I'm a food and beverage manager now, you know, and the person changes the detail regarding his or her job title in Adobe, of course, the info flows down to C4C. So the sales team know that John Doe is no longer a barista, but he's now a food and beverage manager. Yeah. So the two things you see on the right, so 4 and 5, these are fairly new. So we just had these for the last couple of years. Adobe has social connectors now. It's connected with Facebook, and it's now since late last year, it's connected with LinkedIn. So if in your market you run a lead gen campaign using Facebook form, or you run a LinkedIn lead gen campaign using the LinkedIn form, the lead is immediately real-time available in Adobe. This is really a great thing because we are the only organization in Nestle that are having those social connectors in place. So Nespresso, for example, Nespresso also are using Adobe campaign for their digital marketing. They don't have those social connectors. Yeah, so they're probably too big and too complex to make it happen quickly. But for us, it's something that we do have now. Yeah. Why social connectors? Because social forms, they perform always better than Adobe forms. Yeah. So I'll explain. I don't know how familiar you are with the social forms. Keep in mind that as a market, you always have the choice to either use Adobe Forms or use what we call the social forms. Yeah, I've taken this example from Nestle Switzerland. They run a contest, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, and they linked the contest to an Adobe form. Yeah, that is something we do pretty much all the time. Yeah, you have a contest, you need to register to win or not. You link an Adobe form to your contest. But we have also the scenario where you could, instead of putting an Adobe form, you can use a social form. So this is a Facebook form. Usually social form, they convert much better for a couple of reasons. One is they are frictionless. Yeah, so Opera doesn't have to fill in the form because Facebook knows I'm Betty Bakali, so the form is pre-filled. Yeah, and if it's pre-filled, it means it is frictionless. Yeah, so that's why those social form, they tend to perform better than our Adobe form. So the good thing is now those forms are now connected to Adobe. So if as a marketer you want to use them, no problem at all. They really, you have the data available real time in Adobe. And again, Adobe is linked to C4C. It's linked. You can have your sales team who sees there is a lead seconds after the lead has been targeted with the ad and registering. Yeah, I've taken this example from Turkey last year. They ran a campaign about a year ago where it was on Facebook and Instagram, where the operator sees the ad, registers, get their data, submits, and in real time, the lead is available in Adobe and available in C4C for the sales team to call them back and start qualifying the leads and working with them. Same thing, with the UK. They ran a vegan campaign a couple of months ago using the LinkedIn. Again, Facebook and LinkedIn, they both connected with Adobe. Yeah. And again, why we promote the usage of social forms with markets exactly as I've mentioned earlier, because we've run a couple of studies, and this is one of them. We know that the usage of the form on LinkedIn, so the native form, converts 5 times more than our Adobe forms, and the one on Facebook converts on average 10 times more than our Adobe forms. Yeah. So if your objective is to get a lot of leads, it's maybe a better decision to go with the local social forms. Okay. So just to recap on the first block, which is all about first-party data. Remember, we're still talking about the first, knowing our operators deeply. I have 2 quick wins for you. One is making sure that you include Adobe campaign forms in every touch point. Yeah, websites, social platform, you know, any touch point which includes collecting first-party data. Please make sure you use Adobe form and not an agency form or local form or whatever form, because again, these are the only form we report on, and it feeds the global dashboards, and you have all your data in one place, so we can really deduplicate and provide you back with a good with a good understanding of how healthy your first-party data. Another quick one for you. I've seen that some of the people on the audience, they also maybe have commercial responsibility. I'm just going to jump in maybe quickly to the second. But you know what? I'll wait. Yeah, I'll cover the first quick win maybe in detail. Yeah. So remember the first win is I mentioned that please you need to include Adobe Forms in every customer touch points. We have something called NP Data Library. It's a bit of a toolkit that explains what kind of data we can collect in Nestlé Professional. Yeah, so the link is available there. You can click on it, and the document itself, it's called NP Data Library. It's a small document, yeah, that actually explains what data you can include on Adobe Forms. Yeah, I'm the global lead of campaign and data, and I've put in place 4 mandatory fields. So whether you're collecting data in Mexico or in Thailand or in Switzerland, there is always 4 mandatory fields. And these are first name, last name, email address, and business name. We never have any record in Adobe with less than these 4 data points. Yeah. This is in order to really protect our data integrity and make sure that we don't have people with no email in the database, or we don't have people with no business name in the database, because we are a B2B organization. We need to know for which company a person works for, because we can do a lot with the business name. Yeah. So these are the only mandatory fields that we will always see on Adobe Forms. And if we don't have them, the Adobe is not accepting that form. Yeah. Other than these 4 that are mandatory, all the rest is up to you to use or not. But we have them in our, we call it data model. That could be the mobile number, the job function. There is a drop-down list of job function for bilingual markets like Switzerland and Canada. You can collect the preferred language of the operator. Would you prefer to receive French or English, French or German? So we can collect the preferred language, decision-making role, the address, zip code, industry, number of employees, number of sites. All these you can include on your form or not. Just make sure that your form is not very long, because a very long form usually doesn't convert very well. Yeah. And we even included about a year and a half ago flex field. So flex field are empty fields that you can have on your form. You can collect whatever you want in those fields. That's what we call them, flex. Yeah, and we have 5 empty fields. You can even collect, do you have a kitchen in your restaurant? Would you need help with your menu? You can collect whatever info you want to have. So today we have 4 types of forms. We have newsletter sign-up forms, we have campaign forms, we have gated content forms, and then we have corporate contact us form. Yeah. And if you want to start including those forms on your different touch points, websites, social ads, etc., I'm including here toolkits. You just need to launch the URL and explain in detail how these works. So
Betty, I just have
yes.
a quick question. Sorry for my voice. I'm a bit sick. About the difference between social form and Adobe form for social media like Facebook and LinkedIn. You explain it's better to use the social form in terms of number of leads. It works better. But do you have any results in terms of qualification then, qualified leads? Because if I understand, with Adobe Form, we can add some questions so that our lead are already more qualified.
It's a good question, Natasha. Yeah, it's a good question. Marketing is like medicine. It's not a precise science. You need to do a bit of test and learn. Yeah. But here is what we've observed globally, especially on my role, and I've been kind of looking what's been happening in markets. Social forms perform really well if you go in after volume. You want to have people in the database. Maybe you want to beef up that subscription list for your emailing. Maybe you want to get a lot of contest participants. Use social forms. Yeah. And even social forms, you can have custom question. For example, you know that Facebook and Instagram, it's a B2C platform. It's really for consumer. We use it a little bit also for out of home, for B2B, but initially it's really for B2C. So it's difficult sometimes to ask for the job title, for the industry, because it's not a platform designed for out of home. But you can ask those questions as custom question. Facebook gives you the opportunity to ask custom question. Custom question could be, what is your industry? What is your job title? How many coffee cups do you consume per day? Do you have plant-based in your menu? You can ask those questions.
Okay, I didn't know because I never used to. And do you know how many custom questions we can have with those social forms?
I have I don't remember, Natasha, but I have the answer. I can put it on the chat once I check. But just keep in mind, long forms, they you need to keep that balance, huh? The other thing, and you ask the question indirectly by saying the qualification. I've seen in a few markets, especially in Australia and Asia, those social forms, they perform really well, but sometimes they're so easy that operator submits them and doesn't even realize he submits a form. So people look surprised when we call them. They just go, oh, I didn't realize I submitted a form. They just go next, and they don't realize that actually they've submitted a form for lead generation for Nestle Professional, and a sales team will call them back. People don't read all the time. So the quality of the leads is sometimes debatable. And that's why using Adobe Forms, they're not as fun as Facebook forms and LinkedIn forms because people have to fill in first name, last name, business name, but they play a filter role. That means that people who fill them are really motivated to contact us. So indirectly, those leads are in better quality because they really want somebody to contact them from NP versus somebody who's seen an ad on Facebook and he just went next, next, next. And then he's surprised because somebody from our sales team is calling him back. Yeah. So again, please test and learn, see and share the learning back so we can maybe make other markets aware of those best practices. But these are the observation we've seen. Yeah. So again, just to recap, if you want to go after volume acquisition, you know, a long list of email subscription, have a lot of participation for a contest because you want to activate them after with upsell and cross-sell campaign. Go for the social forms because usually they perform better. If you want to do lead generation and you want to go for good leads, introduce maybe a few custom questions, you know, because we use them for qualification, you know, how many coffee cups, how many employees do you have? Do you have veganery? Do you propose veganery option in the month of January? These are really good qualification questions that our sales team are using to assess the leads. So either use Adobe Forms or use custom questions on the social forms because you have that option. How many custom questions? I'll get it back to you.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Betty.
No
That's
problem.
clear.
Any, Andrea, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, I just want to share the experience we had in Ecuador because we had a first an Google campaign that linked to an Adobe form, and then we had a social campaign that that went to a Facebook lead ad form. So we first had a very challenging situation with the quality the quality of those leads, but we kind of fixed that with segmentation and georeferencing the ad and also gathering the information from other campaigns to make look-alike segmentation. So that helped us to with the qualification of the leads we were having from the Facebook, the social campaign.
So, but to run lookalike, you need to have an interesting, high quality first party data. So this is maybe one of the good practice worth mentioning is having a good first party database not only helps from, you know, from a data point of view that you say, okay, I want to have 20% of all the restaurants of my country in the database because I want to engage with them, etc. But also because when you buy media, when you go on Facebook, when you go on, you know, whatever platform to buy media, you want to use lookalike, you know, audience lookup to target people with similar characteristic. Yeah. And that works really well if your first party data is in good shape. Because if it's crap, then you're going to target crap because you're tagging, you know, the same crap you have in a database. Yeah, sorry for the term, but you know, good data helps you get better targeting in the future. Bad data is the same bad crap. So again, it's really a chicken and an egg. So having good, really first party data mid long term can help you with better targeting because you start using it to target people with similar attributes and similar data signals. Yeah, thanks for sharing this, Andrea. Any other question? Any other thoughts? Any other local experience you want to share? Okay. Tessa and Jason, as maybe a third party, it'd be great if you can make us also benefit from external, external point of view. You're probably much more neutral than myself. Yeah, any best practice, we would love to include this as well in our, in our ways of viewing things.
Yeah, so these have all been really good questions. I think something that is simmering in my head is, how do we get better always on first party data collection? So right now, so maybe this isn't a suggestion, this is a thought that I've been having as people have been discussing. We are dependent on those social forms. We know that when we pay to paid advertising and social, we get more first party data. Do we always have like a slow drip? Do we have to be dependent on contests or samples in order to gather it? So just something I was thinking about when we think about quality, people are looking for solutions and answers all the time. So, are we doing enough to optimize our product pages to get more people to the website to make sure that our first party data collection is always on? Because I think the highest quality leads are the ones who are looking for an answer right now. Sorry, I don't know if that helps, but you caught me in like a train of thought.
No, and it's also an exchange of value. I mean, I'll give you I'm not talking about lead, because leads, that means you have a dilemma and you want a solution, or you need help with your menu design or whatever. And you're looking for help on that specific. But if you're just browsing and you go into a trend reports, and you do quite a bit of that in the US, you have quite a bit of content marketing going on. I think of data collection as really a value exchange. My data is expensive to me, it's my personal data. I share it only if what are you giving me in exchange I consider good enough, so it could be a trend reports. Is it interesting enough for me to give you my data in exchange? Or that sample you're giving me, is it important enough? So it's really, for me, it's really a value exchange. And sometimes as Nestle, not just NP, but as Nestle in general, we're not putting ourselves in the shoes of the customer enough. We think that everything we do, it's good enough, or this is our products. We're just like, is that really what he wants or what she wants as an operator? Is it considered good enough? Is it solving the dilemma of the person? And for me, that's really digital marketing. It's personalized. It's not like spray and pray. It's not massive. It's more trying to really address. It's still mainstream. It's still scalable, but it gives the impression that it's highly personalized, and it's really a lot of pull marketing rather than push and push and push. Because historically, we've been doing quite a bit of push, cold calls, spamming, all that it's quite push marketing. Yeah. Dalia, you have a question.
Yes, if I may, because I got really intrigued by this this conversation, which I think is really brilliant. So Tess, you're asking us to probably look more at basically the quality of our campaigns. And Betty, I was also intrigued by the first number that you shared with us in the beginning, that we have 23% in the UK only reach, let's say, so far. So I think the potential is really huge, and I think the UK is actually at the forefront. So I think we have even more opportunities in the rest of Europe. So based on your wisdom and your experience, what do you think is the best lever basically to increase the reach? And I think we need probably some analytics basically to get to that. So is it, for example, that maybe we we want to use, you know, a different combination, I would say, of the social platforms? Is it that, you know, the type of campaign we run, you know, we can think about it differently, or we need to compare, I would say, you know, what has been done before, and then see which elements are working better than others, and use that maybe to improve the quality. So are analytics possible, I would say, with the data that we have in C4C or in Adobe?
So what I'll do, Dalia, is I'll include you. Last month, I published it was the first exec summary on our first party data. I've never done it in the past, probably a lack time, or we didn't have enough markets on Adobe. So last month, I had that exec summary. I think it's a 5 or 6 slide deck. It's quite, because it went to the senior guys. So I share that with you. So it gives you a good understanding of how many data, and it's Adobe. So it's the marketing database, because C4C, it's more sales data. So that means less data as well. But we're looking at from a marketing perspective, you know, how many people we can reach out to, how many people we can engage to, with the objective to increase the reach, of course. So increase the size of the database over time. And also increase the engagement. You know, how can we keep them? You know, it's a relationship. It's like in a human relationship. You want to keep close to people. You don't want to ask all the questions the first time, otherwise the date is gone. So how do you make sure that you ask the right question? Not aggressively, but you know, in engaging ways that people tell you, and you give the right value exchange, the right elements in exchange. So I'll make sure that I share that with you, because I think that can really, really give you some good insights. Now, to increase reach. So the good thing is increasing first-party data is a priority for all markets. So that's really a good thing. So which means that markets that have 100 people in the database, they need to increase it to 120 this year, because they probably have a 20% growth objective. But what I'm saying also to regions and market is volume. So quantity is not the only element in the equation. We need quality as well. And I used to be CMI for Nestle Swiss, Dalia, so I know exactly what I want to get to, is the quality of data. Because it's good to have 100 people in the database, but if I don't have consents, I cannot talk to them. I don't know the job title. So if I run an event for coffee arts, I want to target baristas. In the 100 people, I don't know who are the barista, who are the chef, who are the HR managers. I'm inviting HR managers to a coffee arts seminar. It's a total disaster. So how I make sure that we also have quality of, and quality means for me, and we have that documented, it's 4 golden questions. It's industry. We need to know which industry you work for, because we don't work with all industries. Not industry as equally important. We need BNI, we need third-party manufacturer, we need dark kitchen, we need QSR, we need accommodation. These are the priority. The rest is good to have, but it shouldn't be, my PFME should never go to target or acquire people in entertainment industry, because it's only a very limited number of markets that have entertainment as a priority channel. Okay. So again, consent is number 1. If I have 100 people in the database and 10% consent, that's really bad. That means I can engage only with 10 people in the database. Consent, that means marketing permission, industry, job title, and category of interests. We need to know Dalia, she's interested in plant-based, she's interested in confectionery, she's interested in dairy, because we want to have highly segmented campaigns, you know. Again, we want to segment Wanda, we want to introduce Wanda soft ice this year, you know, it's part of the plans for multiple European markets. The first thing is that accounts, you know, interested in plant-based, because there is no point of targeting you if you're not interested in offering a plant-based ice cream. So again, the only thing to really have our campaign performing better is by having category of interest on the accounts. So I hope this answer maybe some of your questions, Dalia.
It does. Thank you so much, Betty. That's very, very helpful and really well said. You know, we need all of that to make it more powerful. Thank you.
No problem. Any other question, guys, before I go back to the slides?
I have one, actually. May I?
Sure. Yeah, go, Sophia.
Yeah, because we have in our EBP plan to increase contacts by 30% this year, and to maintain the opt-in level of 60%, which we have like 59 today. And I'm super nervous that with that high increase and like focus on gaining contacts, the opt-in rate will decrease. So are there any best practices to work with opt-in specifically? I mean, any examples of good ways to do that are a bit more concrete?
Mm-hmm. So maybe you want to move Nordic out of Europe. So in Europe, we have GDPR, which means you, so GDPR is the General Data Protection.
Yeah, we have,
yeah. So sorry, it's a bad humor. You cannot move Nordics out of Europe. So that means that your maneuver, you know, is quite limited. But there was a couple of things you could do. And I've seen some markets doing it, but again, it needs to be validated with your local legal, because we put in place some basics data protection, but some markets are much more constrained than others because of the local law, like Germany and Austria, for example. They're extremely difficult from a legal perspective. Not difficult, but they have a lot of local constraints. One thing that a few markets are doing, including the UK, is when you see a form, usually any form that involves collecting first-party data should include two clauses. One is terms and conditions, and that is always mandatory. You know, people need to accept your terms and conditions. If you are having a sampling campaign or a contest, of course, you need to say this is only for businesses. In Sweden, you need to be 18 years plus to participate. You need to have your local terms and conditions that are specific to your campaign. And these are always mandatory because we need also to protect Nestle, you know, because people can say, well, I participated, how come you never blah, blah, blah. Make sure that the terms and conditions are transparent so everybody knows the rule of the game. That's the first thing. The second little box is the opt-in, and the opt-in is never mandatory, you know, which means you can participate to a sampling campaign as an operator, or you can participate to a consent, to a contest, but you don't have to give your consent. Yeah, so consent is never mandatory. But here is the thing. Some markets, again, if the local legal agrees, you can put the two boxes together. Yeah, which means you're kind of imposing the consent. So people cannot submit a form unless they tick one box, and that one box has terms and conditions and consent in one sentence.
That's very clever. I already see our legal team saying
UK is doing it. Yeah. Germany, I don't think they can do that. And Austria, I don't think they can do that. Yeah, because of it's extremely constraining. The data protection laws they have locally. Maybe the US, you could probably do that as well for now, because the laws also are constantly evolving and they're more going into the data protection direction. Again, what I'm telling you, Sophia, is really something that needs still to be validated with your local legal advisor.
I can see them now, but I will definitely talk to them. Thank you for the tip.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. The other thing as well is we have a few markets running permission campaign, and they usually do that when they have a lot of people without, so globally in Nestle Professional, our constant percentage is 62% globally, which means, you know, we have 100 people in the database, only 62 have given us the opt-in. So which means roughly 40% of people hasn't given officially the permission for us to engage with them in a commercial, in a brand communication, commercially driven communication. We can run a permission campaign that said, hey guys, you know, we want to include you in our club. You're going to receive promotions, special exclusive offers. Would you like to be part of that? And even if you have only 10% says yes, it's still worth it doing. Yeah. But people who don't answer, you know, you need to find a way to kind of remove them from that. Okay. So two quick wins, you know, put 2 boxes in one so that they cannot submit a form unless they give you the consent, but please validate that with your local legal. And the second thing is you can run permission campaign, you know, by making them, by providing transparency and attractiveness on, you know, what they're going to get in return if they join the club, you know, maybe free events, free samples once a year. You know, it needs to be interesting. And again, think about a value exchange. You know, would you do that if we're in their shoes? Would you exchange your personal detail in exchange of your, you know? And for me, that's part of becoming customer centric, is, you know, thinking of the shoes of the customer. Yeah. I hope this answers your question, Sophia.
For sure. Thank you very much.
No problem. I'm just trying to check the time.
Ready?
Okay. 20 minutes left. Yes, Tessa?
I have one comment on that, Sophia. I think that as long as you're focused on quality and that value exchange, like Betty's suggesting, your opt-in rate going down is less concerning. It's more important to make sure who does get in is quality, to protect your sending IP so that you don't get, you know, add a bunch of names and hit that growth number. So if you need to increase reach, using the names you already have and targeting people like them, you know, in LinkedIn, in Facebook, is a great way to increase the reach so that you're hitting people like the people you already have who are quality. But yes, like when you explicitly ask for permission, it's going to go down. I wouldn't, just don't get discouraged by that. Keep trying to get that reach and know that people who are opting in are good for your database, going to protect your IP, because it'd be worse to have a high opt-in rate, you know, and, you know, have it be implicit. And the other idea, I love, Betty, that you said, that permission campaign, those are awesome if you have sales teams coming to you and saying, hey, I got all these email addresses, you know, I want to send to them. And I don't know what this is in GDPR. In the United States, if I meet you at a trade show, I scan your badge, I get your name, that's considered a permission. But to protect the IP, we do that one send to create that value exchange, just to make sure. Because again, quality is the most important thing. Because if we just start sending to whoever, that will tank the quality really quickly. But again, like, you might get a lower open rate, you might get lower whatever, but you'll be thankful once your unsubs rate is lower, you know? Yeah. Just something to keep in mind, because I'm sure that opt-in rate will go down, but as you increase the reach.
Unfortunately, with data, there isn't much shortcuts, huh? I mean, it's a strategic thing. You need to build it, not painfully, but consistently, you know, it's really, but it is strategic. And again, good data means also that your future targeting will be good, because you can use it for lookalike, which we don't do yet as much as I want to. But it is there was limited number of shortcuts, huh? It is hard work. Cool, guys. We have roughly 20 minutes, and I have a couple of still key elements I want to take you through. And then, so today is really a bit of an overview, but tomorrow is really the session which you guys are going to love because it's all hands-on tomorrow. So that creative spirit you have, you can unleash it tomorrow even more. So let us go back to the deck. So again, I'm not going to walk in detail because these are all self-explanatory reference documents. You can have campaign forms. The campaign forms can be embedded on your websites. They can be standalone, up to you to decide. You can gate your content. This is something the US is doing a bit. In Switzerland, you're doing it also a little bit, Natasha. In the past, your predecessor has done it. Is if you have some really, really good content, you can gate it, which means that you can put a form to download the rest of the documents. But again, think of it as a value exchange. Is it good enough for the operator to think that their personal detail is worth it leaving because they're having access to your China reports? So again, I'm explaining a little bit like what the US is doing for gated content. And another thing is, please, if you're getting content, keep your form to the bare minimum. Yeah, if you're getting content, don't put a form with 10 data points. This is just an entry point to the database. The form needs to be 4 data points, not more. The bare minimum, because this is not a lead gen. These are people just who wants to download your content and get out. So make it easy for them. I'm just gonna quickly skip through this. This is the most strategic one of all the forms, is what we call the corporate contact us. I'm just going to take maybe 5 minutes to walk you through this one. We have, I think, 7 or 8 markets using Adobe corporate contact us. We call it corporate contact us because those forms are not brand specific. They're not product specific. They're not category specific. They're really corporate. Yeah. So if this is from the US websites and it's on the old websites, maybe I need to upgrade the slide. So when operator go into your websites and I want to contact you, yeah, and they press the contact us form, yeah, then you see a form. It's usually an Adobe form embedded within the website. Yeah. There is something really important in that form is it has what we call reason codes. Reason codes means just reason for contact. Why are you contacting NP? Is it because you have a question on food products? You have a question on a beverage products? You have a question on the equipment? Really, depending on the reason for contacts, Adobe can automate the handling of those requests. Yeah. So here I'm sharing with you what the US have done, but we also have, I think, 7 or 8 other markets who've done the same. Turkey, Switzerland, Germany, Singapore. So these are all markets that have automated the corporate contact us. So we usually work with the market to define a list of reasons why an operator is contacting Nestlé Professional in that market. And we said, okay, any person who contacts us because they have food inquiries or because they have beverage inquiries or any other topics, these are leads. So Adobe needs to create a lead and send it to C4C. A reason, a person who has a question on the trade assets, on the beverage equipments, has a question on where to buy, or has a media question, we don't consider these as leads. So what Adobe does is we create a of course, we will create the contact in Adobe, but they're not going to the sales team. They stay in Adobe, but Adobe fires a notification to the back office. It could be the trade asset team. It could be the service team. If it's a media question, it could be a question to the corporate team, corporate comms team. Yeah. So markets can just decide how to automate that. Now, the beauty of this is that it works 24/7. It doesn't fall sick and doesn't take holidays, which means that all your incoming requests on your websites can be automated and the right person, real time, handling them. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to really take a few more minutes to explain how important is it. If you think you have enough volume of incoming requests, of incoming inquiries into your websites, you can automate that, and Adobe can help you, automate all those incoming requests. This slide summarizes the different forms that we have with the link to the toolkits of each form type. Most of the form, they're always on. For example, the newsletter sign up form, it can stay there for years. Same thing for the corporate contact us, it can be always on. For the gated content, it can be on and off. You can, if your content has longevity, a trend report for food and beverage, food and beverage trend report for 2019, 2018, maybe something that is no longer valid 5 years later. But if it's something on plant-based future, maybe something that can really have a lifespan, have a longevity of longer. Really up to you to decide. Do we create leads on the newsletter sign-up form? Maybe not. You don't want to send those guys to the sales team. A person who goes to the website, subscribe to the newsletter, he's not hard enough to go to the sales team. Yeah, same thing for gated content. So we don't create leads. We create contacts in Adobe, but the guy, the operator, doesn't go to the sales team. Yeah, and the SLA. So all those forms, actually, the campaign factory, the CRM team, can create them for you, except the last one. This, it takes a little bit of workshops. I get involved. Viso team gets involved. So Viso is our CRM agency. So, and usually it's something that costs roughly 5,000 euros, yeah, to create and put in place, just because it involves coding and it involves, process automation. I'm just gonna pause here quickly and see if there was any questions before I go to the next concept. All good, all clear, all easy. Yeah, cool. All right, so let me go back. 10 more minutes, guys, and then you can have your freedom back. Somebody earlier mentioned the sales team, that the sales team, actually, that was a very good comment. I think it was you, Tessa, who mentioned that. We tend to think that data, just because I probably do a lot of promotion, some of the NP market thinks that data is actually the problem of the marketing or the dilemma of marketing team, but data is really the job of the entire organization. It's the sales team, the marketing team, the sales team are in constant relationship with our customers, and it's a great opportunity to enrich customer records in C4C. They make a sales visits. The guy has changed job. He's no longer a barista. He's now a food and beverage manager. Please update that record, because if you update it in C4C, it'll come to us in Adobe. And if you have good data in Adobe, it means good segmentation. And good segmentation means good campaigns. Yeah. So again, it's really the job of the entire organization. I'm going to explain why. Yeah. So all C4C contacts, so remember C4C is the CRM tool. Yeah. Which means that in theory, operators in C4C are customers. They should all have an email address. Yeah. Today, roughly about a third of the contacts in C4C, they come to Adobe. Roughly a third. Why? Because we don't have an email address. There is no point of having a contact in Adobe if we don't have an email address, because Adobe is a communication system, is a marketing system. There is no point of having Tessa Berg in Adobe if I cannot talk to Tessa. Yeah. So I'll take an example to really make this concept easy for you guys to grab. If I take an account, a business, and that account is called Iberica Restaurants. Yeah. And best practice is for each account, we need to have at least 3 contacts, at least 5, 6, 10, even better. At least 3 contacts. Yeah. And let's say for that account, I have 3 contacts. I have Janet, who's the owner, and I have her email address. I have Gustavo, he's the exec chef, and I have his email address. And I have Edward, who's the chef, and I have his email address. Then, I can really activate if I have a campaign that I want to target all the chefs. Definitely Gustavo and Edward will be picked up, because I have their job informed in Adobe and I have their email address. Yeah. So that's why it's really important that the sales team collects complete data when they make a sales visit. Today, that's really is a missed opportunity that we have, because roughly in Adobe, we have only a third, and I'm giving you global numbers. Maybe your market is better. Only a third of the accounts, we have people to contact in those accounts. In Switzerland, Natasha, it's even worse. Yeah. In Switzerland, I think we have like 85,000 accounts, and we have roughly 6,000 contacts. 6,000. Yeah. So the opportunity is great to improve. All right. So exactly as I mentioned, best practice is to have a huge marketing database, and the sales database, in an ideal, we want to have all the sales contact within Adobe. Yeah, that's the ideal situation. This means that all our existing customers are part of the marketing data. That way we can run retention campaign, we can run a loyalty campaign. We want to be able to talk to people who buy plant-based because we want to invite them to a plant-based academy. Yeah, the only way to do that if we have access to the contacts of our existing customer. The size of the marketing bubbles is always bigger than sales, because in marketing we have, again, people who subscribe to the newsletter, people who've downloaded trend reports. That doesn't mean that those guys should go to the sales team. That's why the marketing bubble is always bigger. And the last thing is the true bubble, constantly exchange info. Yeah. So I'm just going to quickly. One thing, guys, why it's important to collect data. And I'm going to share this example from Canada. I don't know if Carl is still on the line. So Carl, this is your example. So in Canada, Carl is really promoting the seasonal offer, limited edition on Starbucks, to the existing database. So he's actually segmenting buyers of the Starbucks that we proudly serve Starbucks, but telling them, hey guys, we have a limited edition next month. Would you like to order it now? And he uses Adobe for that. Yeah. So when an operator says, yes, I want to order now, then this is an Adobe landing page with the carousel. Then just the operator selects which limited edition they want to order. Next, form. The form is pre-filled because this is an existing customer. We know the customer because we already sent him an email. So the form is always pre-filled by Adobe. Submits. Then a thank you landing page with a thank you email, and Adobe fires a notification to the Starbucks supply chain team, fulfillment team. And you know, it's always the best practice to do a retargeting 2 weeks after. People who hasn't opened, haven't clicked, we send them an email. So we retarget non-openers with a different subject line to make it a little bit more urgent, to make it a little bit more, you know, to really encourage that call to action. Yeah. And these are the results. You know, 300 emails, roughly 31% open rate, 22% click rates, and a few sales. You know, 15 orders, 4,000 sales, without having to make any sales visits, without having to knock on doors, without having to do any calls. It's all automated. No PFME involved. A little bit of, you know, budget for the campaign factory to design the campaign, and that's it. Clean, nice, and efficient. So this was on 300 existing customers, so 300 emails. Now, here is the thing, is what happens if we have more than 300 emails? What happens if we have 3,000 emails? So this, my friends, is just the value of a larger database, more orders. We haven't even improved the open rates. We haven't improved the click rate. We're just taking like a mathematical multiply by 10. So we, on theory, we just have more orders. So that's why it's important that, you know, we collect, because you cannot have that if you don't have the email address on your existing customers. And this is the Nespresso models. That's what Nespresso colleagues are doing in order to really get people to reorder. You know, it's a simple one. So this is automated on the first block, which is how to know our operators deeply and how Adobe can really help you with that. Any question for now?
Betty, I just wanted to say I love these case studies, and each example it gives us more visibility to what other markets are doing, but also it's, I don't know, my head is spinning with ideas, so I appreciate these.
You're welcome, Christine. You're welcome. It's 5 o'clock. I can stay for a few more minutes, but I don't know about you guys. I have a couple of more slides, and when we can really close DigiBites 1. But if you have something, no problem. We can stop here. Totally up to you.
In my case, there's no problem.
Thank you, Juan. So maybe I can take a few more minutes just to quickly go to a couple of more slides, and then we'll call it a day. On my side, anyway. I know it's still early morning for you.
I can also stay for a few minutes on my side.
Okay, no worries. The recording is still on, so I'll make sure. I haven't distributed the slides yet, but I will on Friday because I'm still adjusting some of the slides based on your questions, and especially based on the exercise tomorrow. But you get the whole deck on Friday and also the recording, of course. So let me just go back to the slides. So we've looked at the first block, which is how to know our operators deeply. The second thing is really about marketing qualified leads. Yeah, so this is our bread and butter. This is what we do. We use Adobe and the processes, so all the campaign excellence processes and best practice we've developed to work to help markets generate good quality marketing leads. How do we do that? This is how it works in theory. You have your media mix. The media mix usually has a bit of owned media. So, your websites, your organic posts on LinkedIn, if you have a LinkedIn page, on Facebook, but also paid, a bit of sponsored ad on LinkedIn. The media mix is a local choice. It really depends on your, the recommendation of your media agency, where to reach that target audience. And the objective of the media mix is to drive traffic to your page. So in this, for example, this is an example from Brazil. It was, to drive traffic to this form, to request a demo on one of our beverage solution. Once the form, so this is an Adobe page. Once the form is submitted, we have a thank you landing page, and all forms are really integrated with C4C. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's always a very good idea that the marketing leads is picked up first by the qualification team. It should never hit the sales team. Somebody needs to first pick up the lead, run a script, run a qualification, and only the good guys will go to the sales team. Yeah. And usually they do that via a script, they call back the lead and then they ask a few questions. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Please tell us a little bit about your business. And only the leads that actually score based on the script are then assigned to the sales team because they're hot enough, they're aligned with what the sales team want to have as leads. Yeah, so this is how it works in theory, and this is what markets are trying to really implement from a process perspective, because it's easy from a system to do that, but having the right organization, making sure that we have the right qualification team, that we have the sales team working on C4C efficiently, updating C4C, that's change management, and it's not something that happens overnight. Yeah. This is an example of a campaign, is a lead generation campaign on Nescafe solution that was run in Central America. They ran it in Q4 last year. So it was quite a good, it was really, really a good campaign with really good results. So so Central America is 6 countries, but we decided to focus only on Guatemala and Costa Rica. Sorry, not we, they decided to focus on Guatemala and Costa Rica. The media mix they've used is a mix of, Google ads with Facebook paid ads and some organic posts on Instagram with really the objective to drive traffic to the form. And, we have operator fill in the form, submit in the form. Once the form is submitted, thank you landing page, and then an automatic email, to keep the IP warm in that country. And of course, Adobe Forms are integrated with C4C. But when we launched this campaign, actually, C4C was not yet implemented in Central America. So that's why we send a notification each time to the sales team. Each time we have a lead, Adobe sends an automated notification to somebody in the sales team that first does the qualification. And if the lead is qualified, then he's passing the lead via Excel, again, because they don't have C4C at a time. Now they do. I think they do now, or they're about to launch it. And the lead is then, processed by the sales team. So this is how it works. And we have roughly 200 leads in Costa Rica and 160 leads in Guatemala with some really, really good conversion rates and placements, machine placements. This is how it works. Yeah. So when we do marketing or digital marketing, which is what we do now with all the examples I've shared with you, we do pull marketing, and pull marketing, it's much more efficient. It's what we call inbound marketing. It's all about, social media, white paper. It's much more efficient. It's much more personalized. It has higher ROI, and it's really about making sure that we are in the right places where the operators can find us. What are them? What we used to do a little bit in the past, which is quite a bit of push. We still do quite a bit of push in some of our markets, but hopefully with all the promotion we do internally, with all the change managements, we'll move less from outbound and more on inbound marketing, where we really try to attract the right audience. When they search coffee machine for my office, good search, they land on a website. The website has a lot of, good article references from existing customer, a high NPS score, infographic, how having a Nescafe machine can help you, improve revenue in your outlets. All that is really cool. And this is what we're really trying to get you guys to start doing. A few markets are already doing it, which is great. But with all those best practices, we're trying to accelerate in that front. There is something in marketing, I don't know if you guys know it, which is the marketing rule of 7. And it's even more relevant for us in out of home, is we usually do 1 or 2 lead gen campaign, and we think we're going to move the needle and have a lot of leads and blah, blah, blah. But we know that it takes, on average, and it's an average because it's cross industry, but it's a B2B average, that it takes 7 times exposure to our brands before a lead converts. Yeah. So having that campaign and expecting to really generate a lot of leads, and then say, well, campaign doesn't work, I didn't get a lot of leads. Please think twice before making that statement, because it takes 7 times, exposure to the brand proposition before a lead converts. Yeah, and this is not me saying it. This is what all the literature in marketing B2B is saying. Okay, and that it's like a sales team knocking on doors. He probably has to knock on a lot of doors before landing that interested leads that say, oh, come back tomorrow. I'm going to have time to talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it digitally and getting that lead that is interesting enough for our sales team to convert. And usually it takes 7 door knocks before you get to that lead. Yeah, so think of it next time you run your campaign. And we have a center of excellence, resource center. The link is in there. All what I'm saying is being shared in there. So we have, all the material you need to know to work with the campaign factory. I run quite a bit of webinars. I haven't run any this year yet, but we have 4 coming this year. I put all the webinars material in there. We run a lot of campaigns efficiently because everything is template based. So all those templates are available here. We call them La Casa del Email. It's because it's easy to remember. This is really an interesting one. It's our campaign library. Every time I see an interesting campaign, I put it in the library. You can just click on it. And you have food campaigns, beverage campaigns from global, from all our NP markets. So please browse to them. I try to keep it updated every 2-3 weeks. I add to the library. It's a good source of inspiration. Yeah, I mean, if it works in one market, there is no reason why it couldn't work with you, and vice versa. It helps accelerate the learnings. And if you want to, for example, this campaign from Italy, if you want to run it, you can just reach out to the Italian team, ask for more questions, etc. So really the idea here is to really cross-fertilize, accelerate the learnings, and get you guys to be part of a global community. We have a couple of new stuff in there, the Rosterier and the Starbucks digital activation toolkits. That's about it. Sorry for taking a little bit longer, 12 minutes extra. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I did. Thank you for the great questions. Thanks for the great energy you brought into the to these online training induction. I hope it wasn't too painful. Yeah.
No, it was great. Thank you, Betty. Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome. You're welcome. All right. Sorry again for taking longer. You're welcome. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. And yeah, I can stay longer. Andrew, you have a question? You guys feel free to stay or leave as you wish. I finished my day, so I can definitely stay longer. Andrew, you have a question? Just shoot.
Well, yeah, not really a question, but you know, it's something that while doing our first campaign in the ADC that became really relevant, and that's when we're doing the lead generation exercises, it's very important for us to reject people properly as well, as opposed to just have them, you know, sit. That's it.
You're cutting, Andrew. Sorry, I missed the last couple of seconds.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that in there. That there is we found an importance in rejecting people properly, so that, you know, because the next campaign you run, you might get some bad comments under your post if we don't communicate well in terms of rejections. Also, when we're doing lead generation.
No, definitely, Andrew. And this is probably one of the areas we need to improve as an organization. When we run campaigns, and let's say you generated 100 leads, and then they go to the sales team, and then the sales team say, oh, bad, reject, not big enough, not interesting enough. And it ends there. And there is no thank you email. There is no, sorry, we cannot visit you, but you can buy our products. Here is a list of distributors, here is a list of places where you can. I think that is really a best practice, because it's a small word. And in Russia, we have a couple of really painful examples where the sales team have rejected lead, but then the guy left and he went to a bigger business. And the sales team, they just couldn't talk to him because he just had such a bad idea on Nestle Professional. So he's working for a larger organization that's, again, maybe Russia is not the most popular example to bring in right now, but the point is, maybe that operator, that contact is not interesting enough, it's not big enough now, but you don't want to burn your bridges with him. You want to, you know, it's a business relationship. Make sure you preserve that, because God knows in 5 years he's going to be maybe the manager of the largest hotel chain in the country, and you better stay in good, you know, in good contact with the guy. So definitely, Andrew, is we have the tools now, we have the processes to really keep that relationship healthy, you know, and automate some really good communication. We shouldn't just reject lead and go silence as an organization.
Agreed. Thank you. It was a great presentation. I learned a lot today. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Cool. All right, guys, looking forward as well. Thank you. Thanks for being such a great audience, and we'll speak tomorrow. Dalia? Oui, je te partage l'exec summary sur les data. Je pense que tu vas le trouver intéressant. Parce que c'est plein de data. Puis je pense, avec ton rôle, hein, c'est quelque chose qui peut peut-être te donner une bonne, surtout, je sais pas combien de mois, mais tu es relativement nouvelle. Ça te permet aussi de comprendre les marchés, qui a quoi, les bons élèves, ceux qui traînent un peu derrière.
Super, super. Merci, merci énormément, hein, donc
Oh,
infiniment.
je t'en prie.
Et c'est excellent ce que tu as partagé avec nous aujourd'hui, le système que tu as construit ces 5 dernières années, c'est incroyable, hein, incroyable.
Moi, je suis contente, mais c'est pas que moi, hein. Il y a toute une équipe derrière et puis il y a l'équipe sales aussi, il y a mais c'est vraiment un bon travail d'équipe. Et puis on a les bonnes personnes dans les régions aussi, ça aide. Je veux dire, c'est vraiment pour moi, en 5 ans, on est parti de rien et là, on a 49 marchés, tout le monde a les data dans la même place. Alors, il y a encore quelques boulettes, hein, mais en gros, ça se tient. En gros, ça se tient. On a des reportings qui commencent à tenir la route. Maintenant, il faut optimiser. Tu sais, il faut qu'on arrive à lever tout ça. Voilà.
C'est
Il y a encore
déjà
à faire,
génial ce que vous avez,
mais
hein,
c'est
donc
pas
c'est
mal.
vraiment génial.
Non, merci beaucoup, hein, merci beaucoup.
Merci
Et
à
puis,
toi.
on ira prendre un café, un de ces 4. Hein.
Oui,
Cool.
quand tu auras le temps. Merci beaucoup. À demain.
Super. Je t'en prie. À tout bientôt.
Ciao.
Salut.